This unique 224-year-old industrial building in Manchester is not now going to be listed as a protected structure, and that means it's going to be saved. How can that be? Viadux 2 is in planning and not yet approved. We take a closer look and find out how much it costs to reside in its smaller neighbour, Viadux 1. Contour 2 new towers for the Great Jackson Street skyscraper cluster. But what is it that makes them different? And next door, 4 more residential towers planned. Are they building too many towers in this area? Hotspur House is an intriguing piece of Manchester industrial heritage. Built in 1801, it started off as a cotton mill where workers endured long hours and poor conditions. Its second life was as a printing press. People think the famous comic The Hotspur was printed here, but that's not true. Its third use was as artist studios. It was a unique place, with views of the River Medlock and the railway, a special atmosphere with echoes of previous centuries. But the building was deteriorating. The artists had to move out. It was never given listed status. Would it be knocked down? Plans emerged to redevelop it as part of a new residential development by developers London-based Manor with Manchester-based architects Hodder. Parts of it would be knocked down, but there are objections and calls for the building to be listed. That would mean, in principle, the whole building would need to be retained and fully restored. And so the plans were put on hold. Developers Manor launched a campaign that seemed contradictory. Don't give the building listed status so that it can be saved. Finally, the government confirmed the building would not be listed, and so on the 18th of January 2025, planning permission was approved. The proposed student development will proceed. Let's take a closer look. The Hotspur building has stood derelict and deteriorating for quite a few years now. It stands like many old mills on the River Medlock. Its curved south facade follows the bend of the river. Its north elevation overlooks the railway, which wasn't built until the 1840s. On the east side, there are lower outbuildings facing onto the curve of Cambridge Street, and on the west side, across the river, we have Home Art Centre Tony Wilson Place. In the media, it was stated that parts of the building would be demolished, but it was never specified which parts. Studying the planning documents, it appears that most of the exterior skin will be retained, but the original interior will be replaced with a new building, from which a new student tower will rise up into the sky. So the facade will be renovated, including the signage, and will serve as the exterior of a podium for a high-rise student residence. The original interior floors, beams and pillars will go, but they're in a bad state. Its striking and historic exterior will receive a new lease of life, a fourth incarnation of the building, a combination of 19th and 21st century, low-rise and high-rise, traditional brick with contemporary materials, from industrial revolution to residential revolution. As ever, I'm recording these pictures now so we can see how it looked before the transformation. It's very important to keep a record of how things were. So, is this a good solution? The new development will create a new focus right at the heart of this once industrial, now residential district. Oxford Road Station on one side, Home Manchester on the other, with a small square leading to Tony Wilson Place, and still with views of the river and of the railway. The tall tower will contain student clusters and individual rooms. Should they have listed the old building and tried to restore it in its entirety, or is the present hybrid plan the best solution? And now looking from Jack Rosenthal Street, and we can see new street signs with Oxford Road corridor branding. We move from the Hotspur building to a point that's 382 metres directly to the southwest on Great Jackson Street, and we'll take a look at a pair of residential towers under construction. They are called Contour. I featured them in a previous video. Here's how they looked 5 months ago. And today, we can see the shape of the building with its, well, I'd call them beveled corners, a new design feature to be seen on buildings by SimpsonHaugh. The visualizations give us an idea of how they'll look when completed. They've been placed right in front of the 4 Deansgate Square towers, and that will have an impact on the views, but that's always the case when new tall structures are added near to older ones. And in New York, they're constructing a new skyscraper right in front of the Chrysler building. I think that's a pity. Here, the district has been planned with a variety of skyscrapers, smaller than the ones in New York, placed right next to each other. So what makes Contour different? I think it can be difficult to market these projects in a way that makes them unique. Here, the main USP, unique selling point, seems to be that amongst all the luxurious new residential towers in Manchester city centre, what makes these ones unique is that they are even more luxurious. But how can you quantify that? As we can see from the boards and on the website, they offer a wide range of amenities, including some unique facilities. The Green, where you can practice your golf, and Urban Tales, a dog spa where you can have your dog pampered. Is the project dog friendly? I presume it is, but it doesn't say on the website. And the prices? One bedroom from £344,000, two bedroom from £401,000, and three bedroom from £600,000. Penthouses to be released at a later date. Looks like this project is aimed towards the upper end of the market, a far cry from the people who lived in the endless rows of tiny terraced houses that once stood in this area. I'll continue to track the construction as it proceeds. Essential info: built and developed by Renaker, architects SimpsonHaugh, 51 stories, 154 metres or 505 feet, almost the height of Blackpool Tower. The Contour twins are the latest to be added to the New Jackson's skyscraper district, and so where is the next member of the family going to be accommodated? Well, if standing on Great Jackson Street you turn around 180 degrees, you'll see an enclosed site where they are mixing the concrete for the new towers. That is Plot 4, and it's where the next skyscraper is going to be placed. Media reports say planning permission has been approved, and it's going to be taller than Contour, much taller, breaking through the 200 metre mark. 213 metres to be precise, 699 feet. At the time of proposal, it was to be the tallest in Manchester. Let's take a look at the visualisations. A tall, square tower on a curved podium with all glass. The glass facade of the tower features squares. At the top, the glass panes become more transparent, giving the effect of a lighthouse, and that's why it was given the nickname, the Lighthouse. At the top there will be a restaurant, a swimming pool, and other amenities. Viewing platform? No. I find it very disappointing that Manchester has not one high-level public viewing platform. In Antwerp, there is the Panorama viewing terrace on the top of the Museum aan de Stroom. It's free of charge and open till 10 p.m. 7 days a week. They want to attract tourists to Greater Manchester, so we need a public viewing platform. The Lighthouse is set to be the tallest and on completion the newest member of the Great Jackson Street Skyscraper Club, standing right next to the Mancunian Way and the Hume Footbridge, which I cross quite regularly. You can read all about it in the planning documents. So, let's have a read. Application number 13722, blah, 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 date of application 26th of June. Right, did you get all that? If not, I've placed a link below. Nice bedtime reading. Media reports say it's been approved, but the status of the Lighthouse proposal, as displayed on the Manchester Planning Portal, which I checked in early February 2025, is awaiting decision. And further down Great Jackson Street, yet another project. On two plots bisected by Great Jackson Street, 4 new towers, 2 at 47 stories, 2 at 51 stories, 422 apartments, parking in the basement, plus a green space that connects to Hume Park. So that must be over the Hume Footbridge. The development is called The Green. And as for housing classed as affordable, the developers are reported to have said that neither the Lighthouse nor the Green would be viable if they committed to on-site affordable housing. According to media reports, it's been approved, but the planning portal says awaiting decision. It's interesting to look back at visualisations of the Great Jackson Street area from 2017. The buildings were smaller than the ones now taking shape. I couldn't find many visualisations of the Green, so let's move now to a point around 340 metres northeast of here, at the bottom of Low Mosley Street, to take a closer look at what, to date, is the tallest building ever to be proposed in the city of Manchester, or it will be if it's built. It's Viadux 2, a project of the prolific Salford-based developer Solboy, Architects SimpsonHaugh, originally all residential, but then revised to include a hotel, which, it was announced, will be an exciting global brand. So it echoes the nearby Hilton Tower, a hybrid tower with a hotel below and apartments above. The exterior displays an increasing complexity in style, with diagonal elements including beveled corners similar to the ones we saw on Contour before. As with Viadux 1, the foundations of the tower extend right down into the massive brick undercroft of the former Central Station, which opened on the 1st of July 1880. This interaction between new construction and industrial and transport heritage can be found all over Manchester. They are planting a futuristic 21st century glass tower into a vast piece of 19th century brickwork. These cavernous spaces under the former Central Station are currently used as a public car park. They are like the crypt of a cathedral, a railway cathedral, as Central Station once was. Soon they'll serve as the foyer of an upmarket hotel and glitzy apartments above, with dizzy high-level views, accessed by high-speed lifts. What is or was in the vicinity? Well, we have the Britain's Protection pub, itself facing some uncertainty at the moment, the Axis Tower, the Metrolink Bridge, Viadux 1 and Beetham, the district heating plant with its ornate Tower of Light covering the chimney, the Bridgewater Hall standing on the site of Lower Mosley Street bus station, where as a small child I took the bus to Blackpool and London with my parents. Let's take a quick look at rental prices in Viadux 1. A quick search on Rightmove and I've found a one-bedroom apartment on the 33rd floor available to rent for £1,550 per calendar month. On Zoopla I found a two-bedroom apartment for £2,200 a month, fully furnished, swimming pool and spa, available now. That's what it said in the listing. Checking on housinganywhere.com, I found the median UK salary is reckoned to be £2,500 a month after tax. So for two people, each with a job paying the median UK salary, £2,200 would appear to be affordable. In mid-2024, Historic England put in a formal objection to Viadux 2, saying that it was too tall and in the wrong place. They warned of the considerable harm a tower of this extreme height in this central location would cause to many of our great cities' much-loved and protected historic buildings and areas. I don't think it's in a central location. It's at some distance south of the civic area. And has the Beetham Tower caused harm to the historic buildings in the central area? Let's not forget that the first proposal was for a 15-storey office block. Then came the early 2024 proposal, a 241 metre or 807 feet, 76-storey, all-apartment tower. Later in 2024, plans were revised to include the hotel. The number of apartments was reduced, and it will be about 5 metres taller, still 76 stories. As before, there will be a neighbouring 23-storey block with apartments classed as affordable, plus a 2-storey commercial building. In February 2025, planning permission has not yet been approved. I've seen no media reports announcing this yet. If approved, and I think it will be, the projected completion date is 2028. It was certainly fascinating to do the research for this video. I learned a lot. I've never experienced so much new construction going on in Manchester. It's overwhelming and not easy to keep up with, but I'm doing what I can. If you want to support what I'm doing, you can do so via Buy Me a Coffee, link below.
Well, I hope you found this video interesting. To keep track of how these and future projects plan out, please keep watching Aiden Eyewitness. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und auf Wiedersehen in Manchester.